as a review, we have our place value. We have thousands, hundreds, tens, ones, the tenths, remember that TH, and the hundredths and that TH. And obviously our place values go much further that direction and that direction. Right now we're going to focus on the tenths and a little bit of the hundredths. I'm more than confident that you guys will be able to use decimals with ease once you have a good handle on your numbers. So just adding and subtracting numbers, it doesn't change any rules with the decimals. What is difficult with decimals and takes a bit of time is understanding the value or the size of them. And that's what we're going to focus on here today, is what really is 1/10. So I like to think in money. So if we think about $1, $1 is 100 pennies. So if we had 1 out of 100, that's 1/100ths. So that is decimal 0.1. And that's the same as saying 1 penny or 1 cent is decimal 0.1. It's 1 out of 100th. And if we think about a dime is 10 pennies out of 100, or it's 1/10 of a dollar. So if you think about, there are 10 rows here, you're going to have, if you think about these as our the base 10 blocks and the sticks, you would have 10 rows. So 1 dime is 1 out of 10 rows. And that is 1/10, just like we say it. 1 over 10, 1/10 is decimal 1. So 10 cents. And you could write that with that 0 at the end. It doesn't matter too much in this case. So 1/10 of a dollar is 10 cents, or 1 penny of a dollar is 1/100th. Well, what if we had 20 pennies? We have 20 hundredths, or we have 2 tenths. There's 2 rows out of 10. So we have 20 cents, or 2 tenths, right? 2 tenths, or 20 hundredths. And that's where you would put that extra 0 in. What if we had 5 cents? So we have 5 out of 100 pennies, or 5 out of a dollar, 5 out of 100. So that is 0.05. And if we had 6 cents, 6 out of 100 is decimal 0.6. And if we keep going, and if you had 9 out of 100, so 9 pennies, you'd have decimal 0.9. And now we go up to this 10, and this is where there's no more space, just like in a regular place value. No more space here to write 2 digits, if you think about each of these as their own spot. And we're going to move it, and we're going to move over into the next place value. So this is where we have to think about, if it is in the hundredths, it's actually a smaller number than when it's in the tenths, right? And we know that because we know in our fractions that a smaller denominator means a larger section. So if this was 100 slices or 10 slices, they're going to be a lot smaller. And we can see that visually here because each one of these 100 pennies is a lot smaller than 10 rows if we're thinking size. What about 25 cents? Well, if we have 25 cents out of 100 cents, 25 out of a dollar, we're going to write that as 0.25. Why can we do that? Because we know if we think about 25, we know that that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's the 5 cents there. And then if you took 2 rows of 10 for the 20, so if you split that into 20 hundredths and 5 hundredths, you can see it separated out. 5 hundredths, and we know from before that this is the same as 2 tenths because there's 2 rows of 10. Now it's your turn. Try answering these by putting it into decimal form or into fraction form. So pause the video and see if you can answer it. So 7 out of 10 is 7 tenths, just like we say it, 7 tenths, and that would be 70 cents. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 groups of 10 gives us 70 cents. 3 tenths is the same as 30 cents. And now 0.4 or 4 tenths, and that's why it's so important to say this in your head to help you with the size and the value of it. 4 tenths would be 4 tenths. So I think about what place value it's in first. That gives me my hint to what my denominator is, 4 tenths. And this is the same as 40 cents.